Hey, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom here. Welcome to the third installment of this sequence of videos and PDF lessons as a thank you for signing up to join my free monthly e-zine mailing list. In today's lesson, we're looking at the bass line to I Fought the Law by The Clash. I believe it was done as like a folky rock song by a band called the Bobby Fuller Four. I don't know that version. I know the Clash's version really kicks ass. It's a great version. I think Green Day did a cover of the Clash's version as well. So if you're into Green Day, what you learn today will help you play along with that as well. Now, what we're doing in today's lesson is what we did with the Signed Sealed Delivered lesson, and that's extracting the main parts for the song so that we can play the song and only have to learn 3 or 4 chunks rather than taking a transcription. If you look at in the PDF, the transcription I think takes 4 pages, and there are some subtle little variations and stuff. I'll talk especially in the bridge section of the tune, a way that you can vary up the rhythm very easily while maintaining the integrity of the bass line, but it gives some variations. It's kind of nice to do that kind of thing on stage. So we're continuing on that process with this lesson so you can really see it at work. And I do urge you to pick one of the 2 tunes, whether it's Signed Sealed Delivered or this one, I Fought the Law, depending on whether you like soul music or whether you like rock music better, and take this approach and actually learn the little chunks that I've set out in the PDFs and then put them together and actually play along to the song. You see how you can take a transcription for a song, strip it down to its essentials, give you a minimum of bits to learn, a minimum of parts to learn. You can put them together very quickly and very quickly be playing a song. This is kind of important when you get into gigging situations, because you'll often get called up late, and depending on what kind of band you're in, either you'll be subbing at short notice for someone else and you'll need to learn some tunes that you don't know, or even if you're in an established band and you think you know all the repertoire, it wouldn't be the first time in the world to get a phone call from a client 2 days before a gig to say, can you do these couple of songs, so and so really needs them, or we really want them for whatever reason, and you have to pick up songs really quickly, and this is a great way of doing that. So I do urge you to take the approach we've done, copy it, see how quickly it is to pick up a tune, and then, and I've written this in the PDF as well, the quickest way to actually really learn something on a deep level is for immediate implementation of it. So once you've done it with one of these 2 songs, find a song that you've got the transcription for and do the same process. Find a song that's got quite a lot of variety in its parts, strip it down to its main components, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, solo, whatever. Make up a part for those sections from the transcription that you've got. Learn it and then play it along, and you'll see that even though you might only have taken 90% of the tune, that if you did that in the real world and did it at an audition or at a rehearsal or at a jam or at a gig, because you've got 90%, it will sound reasonably authentic. The listener will complete the rest of the picture himself, and if you've got a couple of cool fills, like there's the fill that I noted in the PDF for the Signed Sealed Delivered lesson, if you've missed out a couple of those, very, very few people will pick up on that. So it's a great process and one I really urge you to take. So anyway, that's enough talking for me for now. Let's move on with the lesson and go look at the intro. Okay, the intro is made up of these 2 4-bar patterns. Play it through with the metronome, then we'll talk through the notes. 2, 3. Okay, you saw I threw that slide in, that's not notated in the PDF. It's from here, the 10th fret of the A string G, and then you get down to the first part of the pattern. So let's look at that 4-bar pattern that you repeat twice. Pretty straightforward. There's only 4 notes in that section, which is C sharp, 4th fret of the A string, hammered onto D, repeat that, so you get a 4-note phrase, C sharp, hammer onto D, 2 Ds, repeat that, then you've got 4 Gs, 4 As, they're the 3rd and the 5th fret of the E string, repeat that, figure on the... Okay, so that the second 2 bars of the 4-bar pattern will repeat of the C sharp to D figure, and then you've got this triplet, and those notes you're playing in the triplet are A, G, F sharp, which are 5, 3 and 2 on the E string, and then up to D, 5 on the A string. Now, if you don't know how to count a triplet, if you listen to the Clash's original, you'll hear that the drums hit that rhythm. And you can just copy that, play it on your iPod a few times, have a listen to it, hum it, and you'll get the rhythm, so you don't actually need to count it. So that's all the intro does, just that pattern, 4-bar pattern played twice. Okay, and from there we go on to the verse figure. Verse is a 12-bar section. It's made up of a 2-bar pattern that's repeated 6 times. Play the 2-bar pattern a couple of times and we'll talk through the notes. 2, 3, 4. Okay, again it's pretty straightforward. We've got this pattern of C sharp hammering on to D, which is the 4th hammering on to the 5th fret of the A string and then playing twice. Repeats it again, but it only plays another note once, and then you play the open A string before you drop down to G, 3rd fret of the E string, play that 3 times, then open A string again, then back to D. So it's very simple, notations in the PDF, tabs in the PDF too. And you just repeat that 2-bar pattern 6 times, and that'll give you the verse. It's kind of like a verse with a chorus built into it as well. But it's pretty simple, and from there we head over to the section that I've called in the PDF the bridge. The bridge is another fairly simple sequence. It involves playing triads on a G major chord, so G major triad is G, B and D, if you don't know, G 3rd fret of the E string, B 2nd fret of the A string, D 5th fret of the A string, and then back to B at the 2nd fret. Then the D major triad is D, 5th fret of the A string, F sharp, which is the 4th fret of the D string, and A, 7th fret of the D string. Play through the pattern and then we'll talk through the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. so those last bars tacked on the end of the bridge pattern, you've already looked at. It's the riff from the verse for 2 bars. And then you've got that pattern, that C sharp to D pattern again. And then the triplet rhythm. Okay, so that's the last 2 bars. Let's look at the preceding bars. What you've got is literally Paul Simonion's playing through the major triad. So on G, he's just playing G, B, D, B with various rhythmic patterns, fret numbers I gave you a moment ago, and then he's moving to D, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, and again various rhythmic patterns, and then it's back down to G and that major triad figure again before you then get into those, before you get into that section. Now this pattern, this section of the tune is one where it also crops up in the guitar solo that's coming up in a second. This section, when you're on the G to D and you're playing arpeggios, or playing through the major arpeggio, is an easy way to throw in some variations on this. You've always got the basic note starting squarely on the beat, and what Paul Simeon does is he does various variations using eighth notes and quarter notes, so we'll throw them in different places. So if we go from G to D, just do something like what you do is you just play through going from G to D a few times, making sure you've always got the triad note squarely on the beat, and then all you do is you vary it up with eighth notes and just use different combinations of eighth notes and quarter notes for each bar. There's all sorts of ways you can do that, and that's a good simple way. You can just throw in some rhythmic variation if you're taking this to a live context and playing it in a band, in a rehearsal, at a gig, whatever. As long as you've got that pattern that everyone in the band can hear and everyone in the audience can hear as well, as long as that underlying pattern is maintained, you can vary it however you want to. You can do as many different combinations of quarter notes and eighth notes as you want, or if you want, depending on how many tunes you've got to learn in a short period of time, you can just stick with the rhythms that I've notated in the PDF and that I've just shown you. Okay, so that's the bridge pattern. Let's move on to the final pattern that we're going to look at, which is the pattern that's played underneath the guitar solo.